Cabarrus, they're not, in terms of the playoff picture, still very much alive, but Coach Marty Stamey told us on Headliners earlier this week they've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. They're coming in here very loose and eager to play.
And that could be a bonus for them, man. Of course, the threat of rain, 100% chance, and that's got to help Northwest if we get a little wetness out here tonight.
Well, it might, but Kannapolis is primarily a ground team. They've got one of the best backfield duos in the state, and Nick Maddox and Tron Brown. And those two guys, nobody's really stopped them. They lost to East Rowan last week, but Kannapolis had some 400 yards of offense, so they're going to put some yardage on the field tonight.
Coach Bob Jacobs, tell you what, Bob, you know, you guys probably have an easy task tonight. Coming off of a big loss to East Rowan, a big conference loss. Gosh, I'd hate to be the team that has to play you after a loss. What do you tell the guys? Was that a wake-up call?
We hope it was, Steve. You know, we felt like that we had some places to break down, and we went back to basics this week and tried to get back to number one again and working on things that we did at the 1st of August.
Well, another thing, you know, you talk about Marty Stamey and his crew. Those guys have absolutely nothing to lose. They can come in here, they have a lot of heart, and they move the ball well. I mean, you know, they can be giant killers.
They really do, Steve. They offensively, I know Coach White and I have talked a couple times this week, and they move the football pretty well. The problem they're having is you know, stopping people, and defensively, I think they're real young, but I look forward to a good ball game. Hopefully, we'll score a lot of points.
I believe it's going to be a better ball game than the general public are predicting. I mean, listen, you guys, do you look ahead to Concord? I mean, you know, are they catching you at a good time?
Well, that's something, Steve, we start talking about Monday. We have to play Northwest before we can go to Concord. That's the last thing we said before we walked out of the locker room. At home.
We'll talk about, let's go back a week to East Rowan. Those guys beat you a conference loss. It's a big loss to you. If you got to lose a game, is that the game if there's a such thing as a good game to lose, I mean, was that the time to lose a game and rebuild from there?
Well, you know, you never want to lose, but at a time, it came at a good time for us because I think we might have been just a little bit big-headed in certain areas. And like I said, we went back to basics this week, and the kids had a great week of practice. You know, we're looking very forward. I think they're real fired up and ready to play.
Coming back off of a loss like that, do you guys work harder? Does Bruce put them through more of a drill, or does he change his style at all?
We haven't changed one thing since August 1st, to be honest with you. We're still running the same plays we started with. The first 4 we started with, we're still running them. I think we've added one play, and it was a month ago.
Well, you guys have got a good problem. As we walked up, he's working with 2 quarterbacks back here, both of them equally as talented. Who's going to get to start tonight?
William Kraft will start. Justin will see playing time. That's the way we worked it all week, and Coach Klutz feels comfortable with that, and Coach Harden does too.
Well, Bob, we'll let you go to work. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck tonight.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Okay, guys, back to you.
Steve, looking very dapper here tonight in his custom-made tailor suit all the way from France. Earlier, Steve had a chance to talk with head coach Marty Stamey of the Northwest Cabarrus Trojans and that uphill battle that they faced tonight against the Wonders.
Thanks again, Randy. Call it Marty Stamey. Tell you what, Marty, you guys got a big outing tonight, a big ball game.
Yeah, we have it. It's a big ball game for us. You know, we're looking forward to playing it. You know, Halloween night, anything might happen.
Well, you said it right. Halloween, you know, you guys are dressed in the orange and black as to Halloween colors. Anything can happen. Anything can happen on a Friday night. You know, we found out just a week ago. Kannapolis is not so invincible. They got beat. It's tough to catch them coming off of a loss, but gosh, maybe they're looking ahead to Concord. They got a big game ahead of them next week.
Well, I told the guys this week that's why they lost to East Rowan. They were looking ahead to us. So I don't know if they can use that excuse 2 weeks in a row. So, yeah, we're just looking forward to playing a good football team.
Well, it's a good football game indeed. Marty, you know, you're talking about a good football team. You got a lot of character. You got a lot of heart. You guys move the ball well. I mean, they move the ball. Offense is no problem. Defense and having some problems tackling. I know you've worked on that, but you got some key players out, some injuries.
Yeah, we've got a few guys out. You know, just minor injuries, not anything major. You know, we expect to have them back next week, but it's just one of those things where the trainers and the doctors thought it'd be better if they just sat down a week.
On a positive note, we mentioned a lot of class and a lot of heart. You got a bunch of kids. I know you're proud of them. You said they're making good grades. They attend class on time. They're never tardy. They're never out of class. Do you remember having such a good bunch of guys playing football for you?
Well, yeah, we've had good kids, and I'm sure the other schools do too. But the public give these guys a pretty hard time, and sometimes I don't think they realize just what they had to go through and the sacrifices they had to make to play high school football. So I defend them every chance I get.
Well, I got to take up for you. All the odds are in your favor tonight. Like you said, it's Halloween night. Anything can happen. You got the traditional Halloween colors on. Hey, you're playing in your own ball yard. That's got to mean something right there.
Oh yeah, home field advantage. Like I said, we're just looking forward to getting it started.
It won't be long, Marty. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, guys, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Steve. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to see if it's trick or treat tonight here at Trojan Stadium. Welcome back to Northwest Cabarrus High School. Delighted you have joined us this week as the...
Okay, fellas, shake hands here. Introduce yourself. I want to introduce my fellow officials, Mr. Bradshaw, Mr. Turner, Mr. Lamb, Mr. Frew, okay? Gonna call you white, call you black. Supposed to read this to you, a sportsmanship statement. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association requires officials to enforce all rules regarding unsportsmanlike conduct by players and coaches, specifically trash talking, taunting, baiting, demeaning celebrations, and or profane language may be penalized without warning. Fighting or other malicious conduct will result in an ejection. If any coach protests a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, he or she is subject to being ejected from the contest. It is strongly suggested that you remind your teammates of this policy. Bottom line, fellas, if I tell you to control your teammates, you do it for me. Okay, we understand that?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understand it. If you don't control them, we will.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to toss the coin. If I drop it, we'll do it again. Excuse me, got the punting seat. Call it in there. Heads is called. It is a head. You've won the toss, okay? You want the football, right? You want to defend the scoreboard? Put your back to those goals, fellas. White won the toss. They'll receive the football. Let's have some fun now, okay?
Okay, the Wanderers are on offense first, and we'll take a look at those probable offensive starting lineups here. First for the offensive line.
Well, Johnson, one of the captains. You've got also Singleton, Seyfried, Mann, and Desmond Miller, another captain along the front line for the Wonders. In the backfield, Kraft, we heard Coach Jacobs talking about him. Tron Brown and Nick Maddox have about 2,000 yards between them. Then Nick Gill, Jenkins, and Sheets, the rest of the skill players for the Wonders. On defense for the Trojans, Larson, Stack, Udi, one of the captains, Petit, and Miller, another captain. And then we look at the linebackers and defensive backs, Hefner, Law, Stevenson, Rhodes, Ford, and Orica for the Trojans. And we're just about ready to get it underway.
Northwest, appropriately dressed, as Steve mentioned a few minutes ago. That's about as Halloweenish as you can get. And they're hoping to play some tricks on the Wonders of Kannapolis tonight, who, of course, both teams have some pretty good skilled players. So we're going to see some points, I believe, in this game on both sides.
Well, Kannapolis, you know, is up against the wall now. If they hope to contend for the SPC championship, they cannot afford a letdown here tonight. There's Coach Bruce Harden, and you know he's been talking to his team about that. Don't look past this Northwest bunch to the Bell game next week. He's talking with his quarterback, Kraft, there, as the Wonders get set to receive.
Timothy Hopkins will kick it away for the Trojans. Number 7, and Nick Maddox, one of the premier return men in the state. He's got a couple to his credit, along with Corey Maxwell, also fleet-footed as well. Back in kickoff receiving position, and we're about ready to tow this one underway, and it is in the boots. This one out of bounds. That might be the smartest play if you're trying to kick it to Maddox. And
the mascot got it.
So Kannapolis will get it at the 35-yard line. Mascot wouldn't have expected that, I don't think.
No, but that was a pretty nice catch. You're right, though. Randy Maddox has run several kicks back this year, and boy, he's scoring from all over the place. He's even thrown a touchdown pass. Now,
they'll be at the 40-yard line, 1st and 10 for Kraft and company to set up. We know they're 8-1. overall and 1 defeat in the conference. Kraft, the 170-pound senior, offsets his backfield.
Going to be Ivar Johnson starting at fullback, though.
And the toss will go to Tron Brown around the left side, and he's got some room. Cuts it back against the grain and will be caught up at about the 40-yard line of Northwest. 20-yard run on the first play for Tron Brown.
And what a big hole he had over there on that side of the field. He ran right through that gaping hole opened up by the Kannapolis line, and that's something Northwest is going to have to do. They got to stay in position and keep big chunks of yardage from becoming a problem here tonight. And right away, Johnson goes out, Maddox comes in, so the Wonders shuffling backs already.
And they've got Brown and Maddox now offset. And the toss will go to the big side. Here's Maddox. Boy, nobody home. And Nick just weaves his way and will probably take it into the end zone. He does.
And there was some great blocking downfield, Randy, for the Wonders. Looked like Desmond Miller was one of them. Also, Johnson perhaps was one of them downfield. They were just eliminating people. Watch this play. Out in front of him here, look at this. There's guys just getting torched out here, and Maddox runs through a couple of them. And Nick has done that many times. I think, if our stats are correct, that is his 30th touchdown this season.
That's total, counting everything,
yeah,
all categories.
Yeah.
It took the Wonders less than a minute to get on the board. A low snap. And the kick is up by John Garver, who has done a great job this year in that category. The Wonders are quickly out 7-0 with 11:22 to go in the first period. Back in just a moment. This was pretty good room and will be ridden down out around the 25-yard line. Tremaine Robinson, one of the first guys there, along with Mark Kennedy, one of the defensive leaders for Kannapolis on the stop. So here comes Silas Davey in the offense as we check out that line.
Cross, Jones, Udi, one of the captains, Williams, and Betcher. And then in the backfield, Stamy, Douglas, Laws, Larson, Norica, and Ford. And we'll get to the Kannapolis defense in just a moment. Now keep in mind, as we've said, the Trojans have been able to move the ball and put points on the board on anybody they've played this season.
Stamy to the air, and he's got a man out of the flat, complete 35-yard line. First down, good catch by Patrick Ford, and a late flag, maybe a face mask on the tackle as we check out the Wonder defensive line first.
Johnson and Miller, a couple of the captains there. Linton Poor, another captain, and then Paul Allen. And then as we look at the secondary, Kennedy, Sheets, Maddox, Harris, Caldwell, and Gill for Kannapolis.
As was the case last week, when the Wonder lost to East Rowan. Too many penalties, almost 100 yards, Woody, and right off the bat, the defense gets hit for another 10.
Well, pretty good play there right off the bat by the Northwest coaches. You know, they'd expect them to go to Douglas and try and pound away, but they go outside and try and open things up a little bit right away and hit Ford.
They show 1, 2, 3 wide receivers this time. Twin sets behind Stamy at the Wonder 49-yard line. And Stamy will keep it options out. Errant toss. And it's scooped up by Kannapolis. Coming up is the opposite number 2, not Douglas, but number 2 for the Wonders. And we do not have a number on that young man, but he was Johnny on the spot. Just an ill-advised toss, I think, by Stamy. But
well, he had already started to get contact from one of the Kannapolis defenders by the time he pitched that, and then it went behind Douglas to boot. Watch here. Stamy pitches it as the contact is coming, and you have to make that decision a beat sooner than that, or this kind of thing will happen to you. And Kannapolis right back in business
at the 39-yard line of Northwest Cabarrus. William Kraft will give it to Maddox. He'll go short side this time. Maddox sidesteps one guy and lowers the shoulder and got about 8 on the play.
And he goes down under a swarm of defenders. Pretty good penetration that time in the backfield by one of the Trojans. There you see Coach Bruce Harden on the sidelines giving instructions to Johnson and Kraft as they come in now. And the Wonders ground attack is just something to behold, Randy. Nobody has really been able to bottle them up all season long.
Oh, even last week in their loss, Maddox had over 200 yards of rushing. They had 500 yards of total offense. So,
pretty impressive.
That's like 2 games worth. Out of the eye this time. Slicing off the right side is Tron Brown directing traffic.
Goodness.
What a block. He spins at the 15 and gets another 5 yards before he's put on the ground near the 10-yard line.
Danny Jenkins threw a tremendous block down the field. He flattened somebody, but I'm talking about a hole here for Tron Brown. Watch this hole. He is not touched getting through the line of scrimmage. Watch this block. Oh, my goodness. That was just a cruncher.
Well, check your, you need a neck brace for that one just to watch it.
Ooh. I'll go get me a goodie powder here in a minute. That hurt.
Oh, man. So the Wonders now with 1st down and 10 just outside the 10-yard line. As they've got Marcus Kennedy in at the fullback position. It'll be Tron Brown looking, going behind the block, and goes down to about the 2, maybe the 3-yard line.
Several Trojans again in on the stop that time, but a good job up front by that line for Kannapolis again. The backs are able to get 2 or 3 steps downfield before they're running into opposition, and that's how you win football games.
Of course, you got Miller and Mann and Seyfert and Singleton and Johnson up front doing the job. That makes your job as a running back a lot easier. They send one man in motion, and we'll give it to Brown off the right side, slicing in, touchdown Wonders.
Another good hole that time, but he ran over somebody to get into the end zone, and right away Kannapolis is out front by a couple of touchdowns.
And we have 8 minutes and 28 seconds still in the first period. So 2 possessions and 2 scores.
Here you see it again, and he runs into some opposition here, but he runs through the opposition and into the end zone, and Tron Brown gets another 6.
Now John Garver on for his 2nd extra point attempt of the night.
Kicked it into the woods last time.
And loses that football as well. It is 14-0. We have a break in the action. Kannapolis kickoff is next.
Oh my goodness, look at there.
Halloween breaks out the best in people, doesn't it?
Guarantee you, he's ready. Wonder if he's going to get any candy for trick or treat.
I don't know. Take it at the 3-yard line, Noriega. And he is snuffed at about the 13-yard line. Wonders with great coverage down once again on the kick team. And the Trojans have now a hole a little bit deeper here with 8:19 left in the first period. Had something going, just made a mistake, and now they go with a no huddle. Looks like
it is, Randy. Here's your favorite play.
The swinging gate.
There it goes.
And the reverse. And now a long pass, and he's behind the coverage. Complete. Midfield down to the 46-yard line. Noriega with the catch.
Wow.
Hey, that works. There's the trickery. Trick or treat.
Yeah, and Marty Stavey, you asked him if he had any tricks up his sleeve Wednesday night, and he said no. Well, there was one right there. Well, he got a double reverse here, looks like. Here's one. Here's another. Here we come. Just a single reverse, but he goes downfield, and Noriega, a good job to get behind the defenders. Nice pass, nice touch on that by Stamey to get downfield with it.
He finally got the the quarterback eventually got the football after all that. Deepest penetration of the game for Northwest here at the 46 of the Wonders. Here's Stamey to the air. This one going to be picked off. Coming back the other way, number 82 for Kannapolis. This is Nick Gill, and he'll return it down to the 29-yard line. It was Patrick Ford on the tackle for Northwest, so a fumble and now an interception, and Gill just played the ball perfectly.
Sure did. He was in perfect position, and he's got pretty good size, Randy. Don't forget now, Nick Gill is 6'3", and it's a tough task to throw over him here. That's what Stamey tried to do, just didn't get it high enough in the air. Gill was able to go up and get it. He runs through one tackle, then Ford comes up and finishes him off.
Evar Johnson and Nick Maddox out of the eye now behind William Kraft. So the Wonders offense back onto the field. Didn't have time to get any Gatorade in that series. At the 29, toss sweep this time, Maddox with the speed.
Flag.
And he'll go into the end zone, but it might come back.
And Maddox, Randy, there was some pretty good pursuit that time by the Wonders. Nick simply outran it.
It's hard to believe he's even quicker than he was last year. Clip against the Wonders, that'll bring it back.
Boy, if you had told any of the Northwest fans before the game, well, in the first quarter, you'll have a couple of good plays, cross midfield easily on your first 2 possessions, they would have felt pretty good about it. Now they're down 14-0 with 2 big turnovers immediately after they crossed the 50.
And we haven't played 4.5 minutes of the game. Crazy things happen.
Turnovers will kill you.
The penalty will move it back to the Northwest 35-yard line.
Maddox is out now. Brown is in. Johnson stays in.
First down and 16. It'll be the reverse. Nick Gill around the left side. Boy, a hole to run through, and that is what he does to the end zone.
I'm telling you, Randy, you talk about a hole. You and I could have walked through that hole. Now, that was a tremendous job of execution by the Wonders that time. Gill was not troubled at all on this. Watch this execution. Watch him seal it off here. Look at right there, number 71, Johnson, just pushing somebody out of the way. That's just a great block. He absolutely eliminated his man from that play.
Man, oh man. The third Wonder touchdown of the first 5 minutes of the game. John Garver on to attempt his third extra point of the night. And it is through the heart. 7:13 remaining first period. It is now a 21-0 game. Here at Northwest Cabarrus Stadium, and sometimes your best defense could be your offense. That may be what Northwest has to resort to tonight, because their defense is just unable to execute right now.
Their defense is staying on the field too long, Randy. They've got to get some time of possession built up here for the offense.
Picked up by Douglas, and he slipped. Pretty good kick there by Sheets. It kind of bounded around near the 10-yard line, and it did not go out of bounds. So Northwest will be pinned back deep. There's the scoring drive. It didn't take long.
I don't think any of their drives had taken more than a minute yet. Had they Gill with a 35-yard touchdown run. It looks like the Trojans have a pretty nice offensive game plan, Randy. Just the 2 turnovers have killed them. They have moved smartly to midfield twice in a row, but the turnovers have really cost them. It looks like they have a nice game plan devised by the coaches here.
Well, now this is a wide open offense. Look at this. 6 wide receivers. Stamey trying to
there's gotta have a flag on that. There it is.
Yeah, he was all over the back there.
Yeah, he grabbed him that time as the ball was in the air. That was Gill who's going to get the penalty. There's the intended receiver, Ford.
Yeah, Ford is holding on my neck. That'll be an automatic first down. So that'll get the Trojans a little bit better field position here.
Well, 2 key penalties have helped the Trojans on their offense.
They step off the penalty here with 6:42 to go in the first period, out to the 34-yard line. Now
going for it again.
Hey, why not? What have they got to lose?
Well, we're seeing it all tonight. 3 penalties, 40 yards for Kannapolis.
Stamey is going to go down.
Johnson.
Boy, one thing about it, you only got 3 guys in there to block.
Makes it tough. You fooled them the first time with it. Second time they were ready.
Johnson, a 220-pound senior defensive tackle, really unabated in his...
Boy, just imagine the dedication of these kids here for Northwest Cabarrus, what their practice has been like this week to put in all this stuff. I mean, they have worked hard to put in some unusual type things that you just don't pick up overnight.
They all have 3 wide receivers this time, a more conventional set, so to speak. Twin sets behind Stamey, and he play fakes, goes to the air quickly, and overshoots the first receiver. It looked like he was trying to hit Douglas out there.
A little bit further down the field, though, was Larson, looked like. That may have been who he was trying to go to. Douglas may have hit that ball and kept it from getting to where he wanted it to go.
Jamie Russ, his favorite receiver, now coming in with a play from the sidelines. Number 40, Russ has caught 14 passes on the year. 3rd and 19 now. If you're the Wonder defense, you just pin your ears back and come. You know they're putting it in the air. And a timeout going to be called by Northwest. 5:59 to go, halfway through the first period. It is 21-0. Northwest Cabarrus Stadium, the Trojans see themselves kind of blitzed here in the first few minutes on the reverse, and Nick Gill misses the tackle, and now some of the pursuit catches up, namely Raybar Harris, number 19.
Now, Ford was the ball carrier that time, Randy, but he fought through 1 tackle, but just too many white jerseys around for him to keep that one going.
Harris, a junior corner, 160-pounder, and that'll force the Trojans into a punting situation. Nick Maddox back about midfield.
And here's where you tell him don't kick it at Maddox.
Chris Pate, the punter, and he gets off a decent kick. Maddox backpedals, and will he field it? Yep, got it. Stiff arms one guy, can't get away.
Nice tackle in the open field that time, Randy. Number 74, Mike Betcher that time. Nice tackle, because Maddox has been running away and running around and running through people all year, and Betcher was just having none of it that time.
actually lost a little yardage all the way back to the Wonder 26-yard line. The worst field position of the night for Kannapolis. They haven't started in their own territory but one time tonight. And that was on the opening kickoff, and that was the 40-yard line. So this might have to be a real drive. Time of possession for Northwest, only 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, Kannapolis can't be much more than that because their drives have been fairly short.
Exactly. They offset Harris, and they'll toss it to Brown. Looking to the block, Johnson provides that. And here goes Brown following his blocking, and they finally push him out of bounds inside Northwest Cabarrus territory at about the 49-yard line. They say he actually stepped out of bounds upfield.
And you mentioned Johnson, Randy. Give a call as well, D-Bar Johnson. Well, both the Johnsons, I should say. The Johnson twins out there, I guess. I don't know if they're related or not, but boy, they did a great job sealing that one off, allowing Brown to get down the field. Kannapolis' longest drive of the night so far, Randy, has been 4 plays.
Unbelievable.
Here comes play number 3, or rather number 2 of this drive.
By Johnson. They can't really get a patent on that name. Somebody else has got it.
Yeah.
Crab play fake will go to the air for the first time, and he finds a wide open receiver, Danny Jenkins, and he'll go down to the Northwest 30-yard line. Triple team that time, making the stop. Looked like Jason Hefner over there initially, number 42.
And Kannapolis fans might say, well, my gosh, you're running so well, why do you want to take the chance on throwing it? Well, keep in mind, Kannapolis is looking for the playoffs, and they're going to have to be able to do more than just run to be successful there, so they want to keep themselves sharp, and they're doing it right now. That's exactly what you want to do. You've got to mix it up, or you allow Northwest to put 8, 9, even 10 guys up in there and try and stuff you.
For Jenkins, that was his 9th catch of the year. Here's Kraft to the air again, pumps it up, trying to get Sheets, but was sandwiched and rips down the ground, and he may be shaken up.
He did a pretty good job, though, to avoid 2 Northwest defenders. Looked like they had him boxed in pretty good. He did a nice little move to step up into the pocket. Even though it wasn't really a pocket, it was just 2 guys on either side of him. He stepped up and avoided that rush very nicely.
So they've got the next play in. 2nd down and 10 from the Trojan 30-yard line. Jenkins will split to the far side of the field.
Tron Brown is closing in on 100 yards rushing already. He's got 92 yards on 5 carries so far. He's not even in the game right now. You've got Kennedy in the backfield all by himself.
Lone set back here. And they give it to Kennedy. And he slides for about 6 or maybe 7 yards down near the 23-yard line. Looked like 64 Stephen Udi in on the tackle for Northwest Cabarrus.
And now fresh legs coming back in for the Wonders. You got Johnson and Brown coming back in. Kennedy and Maddox go out.
We saw them rotate Brown and Maddox, just keep those fresh legs in, as you said, against Southland earlier in the season, and it just takes its toll eventually.
Boy, now that's depth to have that many quality backs.
3.5 minutes to go in the opening period. Out of the eye this time. Tron Brown steps out of a tackle, steps out of another, and he's off to the corner and dives. He doesn't quite get in inside the 5-yard line, but Tron Brown with some good determination. Keith Laws finally made the stop.
And you're right, Randy. Brown ran through at least 2 and maybe 3 tackles that time. He just kept his legs churning and refused to go down.
Kannapolis will have it 1st and goal. And the ball spotted right about the 2-yard line, looks like. So the Wonders bidding for their 4th touchdown here in the first period. Maddox is the tailback as he's been reinserted. Kennedy the blocking back. Johnson in motion. It'll be Maddox hitting the left side. Virtually Jeff Sheets is going to have to ice the leg at the end of the first quarter. He's getting a workout here. We'll kick it off here for the Wonders as we return. And this one will go to Noriega at the 5. Looking for the wedge to develop, and doesn't get much past the 20-yard line. Put on the ground by the guy who kicked it off.
There's the scoring drive. 6 plays, 74 yards, almost 2.5 minutes, and a 3-yard touchdown run by Maddox. He's over 30 touchdowns scored on the season right now. And Northwest needs to keep that defense off the field a little while. They got a lot of guys going both ways tonight, but they need to give some of those guys a little bit of a rest. They haven't been able to have some nice plays, but they have been able to generate a long, consistent drive.
Well, let's see what they'll do here this time. One setback, that is Douglas behind Stamey, and now he's a little confused, and we'll call a timeout. 2:12 to go. The second timeout burned by the Trojans, and we'll keep it right here. And it's just been a almost flawless execution on the offense in for Kannapolis tonight here in the first 10 minutes of action. And
this will give us an opportunity to remind the fans at home about Wednesday night. Got the Headliners program coming up. We'll have E.Z. Smith and Bruce Harden. There you see it. 8 o'clock Wednesday night live.
Battle for the Bell Week, and maybe the battle for the conference championship. Two top 10 teams in the state. I think the rankings this week were Kannapolis was 6, Concord was 2, and then there's Hickory, which is in a different league, I believe.
They've been untouchable.
Back we are to action here. First down and 10 at the 22-yard line. Oops, too much time, probably, against Northwest. And they'll sort it out. And it will go against the orange and black. Illegal procedure is the call.
Hey, it's 50-50 here.
A light rain beginning to fall out there now, Randy, and according to the forecasters, it's only going to get worse from here in terms of the weather.
I'll tell you what, you look at Marty Stamey, he thinks the hurricanes already went through. I mean, what do you say? I mean, you know, you're outmanned, obviously, and you just keep on trying. And nothing much there on the running play. Actually, they may have lost a little bit. Northwest just unable to win on the line of scrimmage.
Inside 2 minutes to go now in the first quarter.
Back at the 17-yard line is where they will mark it ready for play. Silas Stamey on the year. 6 touchdown passes and has thrown for over 700 yards. So he's had a decent season. And Stamey finds a receiver, Noriega, and he is pounded after he makes his catch at the 27-yard line. Nick Gill is all over the field tonight defensively.
Boy, that was a vicious shot that time by Gill, but a nice bit of execution again by the Trojans, Randy. A lot of motion, a lot of faking going on back there, and good job by the Trojans to execute a play like that.
It was second and long. Now it gives them a realistic shot, Woody, at picking up the first 3rd down and 5 coming up. So run or pass. Are about to find out. They'll flood the pattern with the receivers once again, or flood the field. 3 wideouts. Stamey does the 360 ball, tipped at the line of scrimmage, and incomplete.
Well, you know, you were talking about Marty Stamey earlier, and he was telling us on the Headliners program earlier that this has been one of the most enjoyable groups of kids that he's ever worked with. The record may not indicate it, but he said it's just been a pleasure to work with this group this year. They show up when they're supposed to, go to class, do all the things they're supposed to do. A lot of fun to be around, and it's just not showing up in terms of their record, but there's a lot more to life than wins and losses on the football field.
Punting time for Northwest, and they kick it away, and it'll be Tremaine Robinson fielding at the 137. Backpedaling, gets a block. And then loses his footing. Kind of a soggy turf in the middle of the field.
Now, I'm telling you, you talked about Maddox's block. He and Betcher just had a tremendous collision over there. You could hear it all the way up here. Man, that was like a car wreck out there.
Yeah. I hope both of them were insured.
Wow. They both walked away from it, though, man. There's a couple of tough kids. I mean, they slammed hard.
No citations were given out on that wreck. Wonders will set up at the 30-yard line as the clock runs with 20 seconds remaining here in the first stanza. They'll split the backs behind the new quarterback, who is Mr. Harden. And here's Maddox. Oh, Nick, still going. It's like a pinball machine. Out to the 45-yard line.
He had thoughts, Randy, of going all the way back to the other side of the field that time, and darn near made it. A couple of Northwest defenders pursued nicely and cut that off. Look at there.
The jack-o'-lantern and the goblins are out.
First quarter's over.
All A.O. Brown here in the first 12 minutes, leading 28-0. Justin Harden in at quarterback now for the Wonders.
Well, Coach Jacobs said in the pregame interview that he would get some time tonight.
So the sophomore hands off, and here's Tron Brown trying to get outside. He's had a night already.
Uh-oh, ball's on the ground.
Northwest. Well, they tried to scoop it up, but they got...
Now, wait a minute. The official, I think one official is signaling that the ball was down. He is. It's going to be Kannapolis ball, and Coach Stamey doesn't like that a bit.
I never got a chance to look at it. His knee is down, and the ball comes out.
It was hard to tell exactly when it popped out in terms of where his knee was. Let's take a look and see if we can pick it up here as he comes around the corner.
There was some hard hitting going on at the...
Sure was. Nice pursuit here by the Trojan defense. They slowed him down and then get him on the ground, and
he looked
like he was real close to that. It was awful close. Hard to tell.
So the Wonders will get the possession back at the 44-yard line. Hard play fake. Throw it over the middle. He's got Sheets, the tight end, open. Great touch. And down to the 33-yard line of Northwest go the Wonders.
And Norica brought him down, but Sheets a big guy, Randy, 197 pounds, and trying to tackle him out there was Norica, 180 pounds, and
I'll tell you what,
did a pretty good job.
A little slant over the middle with the tight end coming out. That brings back some shades of the Mike Borden era over at Brown.
Yeah. Well, he's in town this weekend.
Is he?
Yeah, with the Raiders.
Raiders, yeah. I bet he's Daddy's getting some of that home cooking from Mom and Daddy this weekend. Tailback Brown just exploding up the middle down to the Northwest 23-yard line.
Laws slowed him down, and a couple of the other Trojans finished off the play that time, but the Wonders marching down the field again.
Well, we're getting our wish. We talked about the pregame. We got both coaches have got their sons in at quarterbacks in this game. And I think that's a first here on Metro 12 and all the years we've done football. Second and short. Single setback now behind Hart. And they'll toss it to Brown. Good catch. Now Tron waits on the blocking and cuts it against the grain. Got back to about the line of scrimmage.
And on the tackle that time it's going to be Hefner, Jason Hefner. But again, the Trojans doing a good job of sealing that one off to the outside and forcing Brown to turn it back up into the heart of the defense.
Jacobs doing signals over there. Look like the third base coach. Wave him on. Wave him on.
Jake's an old baseball guy now. He knows how to do the signals.
Third down and 1. Let's see if the Wonders go to the air again. I wouldn't think so. You've got a stable of thoroughbreds behind you. Now they have Maddox out on a slot to the left. And they'll give it to Kennedy, and he's got a hole off the right side. Waiting on his blocking to develop. He'll go down near the 10-yard line.
Well, he had out in front of him downfield Tremaine Robinson, and he was trying to take advantage of that block and cut it back up to the middle, but Trojans got a lot of black jerseys in there before he could make that final move.
So 2 of the starters are not in the Wonder backfield right now.
Well, Maddox was there. He just lined up in a slot that time.
They've got a new quarterback. You got Kennedy getting some time. Marcus has carried the ball not very much this year.
About to be the 7th play of this drive, and he got an equipment problem there as Kennedy tries to get his helmet adjusted.
We get a little bit more rain tonight. We're going to have some of that turf kind of get built up between the face guards on these things. You got to have turf in your helmet if you're going to be a football player in the mud.
Well, it seems like this whole high school football season has just flown by, Randy. It's hard to believe we're fast approaching the last week of the regular season.
And they played 11 games, everybody did. Count the endowments. 10th broadcast of the season. Unreal. Toss to Brown. He'll cut it up down to the 5.
I wonder if Maddox was supposed to get that.
It looked kind of strange,
yeah, the way it went, Maddox looked kind of surprised that Brown got that one, and maybe the pitch was just a little bit offline.
I'll tell you one thing, Tron's got some pretty good hands. There was a low pitch on a couple of plays before he kind of scooped it on almost a hop. And the difference maybe in the fact you've got Harden in, who has seen a few snaps this year, but not like Kraft, and he's been in there primarily passing the ball in certain situations. They'll toss it this time to Maddox. He scoots into the end zone. Touchdown, Nick.
And the Wonders piling up the points, piling up the yardage here right now with 8 minutes to go. Check it out here. Big hole for Maddox to run through. Good block out there by Kennedy to seal that one to the outside and allow Maddox to cut it up in and go for the TD. Well, we got
the extra point coming up. 7:59 to go here in the first half as Garber's on to attempt it.
Somebody's got a itchy CD finger in there or something or another, I guess. Yeah, there we go.
I like the music. I mean, personally, you know.
Nothing wrong with the music.
Yeah, Garber kicks it up, and it's good. Cue the music guy. We'll be right back. It's 35-0 Wonders.
He's kicking. I think this is the first game we've seen him this year where his wrist and hand haven't been heavily taped up.
And it looks like he's going to get the football this time at the 8-yard line. And Nick, hard running, out to around the 25. The flag across the far away goes down as well.
Boy, that one came out just about as the play was over.
Somebody across the far away doing something. Couldn't hide it from the officials. I'm guessing with the referee right now. And Northwest looks like they are moving backwards. Let's see. And the illegal block. There's a hold against Northwest.
So they will indeed go back.
There's the scoring drive, and this one the longest drive of the night for the Wonders.
8 plays, 70 yards, 4.5 minutes, and Maddox scores his third touchdown of the night.
He's near 100 yards rushing. Brown,
92 as a matter of fact.
Brown has already gone over that mark in the first half, and Tron could be nearing the 1,000 or the century mark before this game's over with. He had about 830 yards coming into tonight's game. Maddox with about 1250.
Oh, here we go with the 6 receivers again, Randy.
I like this play. It's wide open. Out. And now here we go. They got Douglas behind the secondary, complete to the 42-yard line of the Wonders. Nice touch by Jamie Russ, who really is the #1 receiver, but he turned into the quarterback that time.
And give a lot of credit, Randy, to these Northwest coaches and players. They have really done a lot during this week of practice, because this is not stuff here that you just throw in and say you draw it up in the dirt and do it. This is some nice execution here on some complicated stuff by the Trojans, and this coaching staff very, very innovative this week, trying to do anything they can to throw a monkey wrench into the Kannapolis defense's plans.
Quick pass, tipped at the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Looked like 55, or excuse me, it was Philip Johnson, 71. He got the tip. Desmond Miller had a tip earlier, but I'll tell you one thing, 6 receivers, wide open, shotgun.
Man, that's fun to watch. I'll give you that now. That is fun to watch, and the Trojans are doing a nice job with it. Here we go again, Randy.
And you spread the defense out. That kind of neutralizes a lot of the speed. And
now they might run out of this.
And you could. Wide open. He's got everybody open. It's hard to cover half the team. Ford will go down with little or no gain that time. That was Paul Allen on the tackle across the far away. Yeah, one thing about it, Silas doesn't have to wait long to find an open receiver in this series. Take your pick. Got everything except the center eligible on this formation.
I thought Marty Stamey kind of grinned when you asked him if he had any tricks up his sleeve, and he said no.
Bump it out to Douglas, who is off to the races, out of bounds.
Nice play.
From the 28-yard line, Nick Douglas with some speed once he got going.
And Gill a little slow to get up over there on the sidelines, but he looks like he's going to be okay now. That time Stamey did get it over the defender, because there was a guy right in his face as he lofted that one through. And out in front that time of Douglas was Matt Cross, and
he just kind of got in the way.
I was waiting for him to run up there and hit somebody, but he just let Nick just go on by him.
And the thing about it is, for this formation, Nick might get the ball, and then he throws it. Here we go again. Russ will throw it to the end zone, and the receiver turning the wrong way. Noriega, the intended receiver. Maddox on the coverage.
Noriega's trying to say he interfered with me, but the official saying, no, there was no way you were going to catch that one. I think Russ was just trying to get rid of it. I think he was just trying to get rid of it once he realized the Wonders had that one covered pretty well.
Would that be something? Your #1 receiver throwing a touchdown pass.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's entirely possible the way the Trojans are playing here tonight. They are really going with a wide open style, and it's fun to watch.
Student body is in receiving formation. And here's Silas Stamey again. Throwing quickly. This one almost picked off. 19 over there. Raymar Harris couldn't quite get down on the turf to get it, but one thing about it, you got these guys rushing. and you don't have the 2 or 3 guys blocking for you.
It only leaves Silas Stamey with a couple of seconds at best to make his decision. He doesn't have a lot of time to try and pick somebody out. He's got to pretty much go with his first instinct before the Wonders are all over him.
They're rushing 4 guys this time, 3 guys to block. Odd man out. Now it's Nick Douglas on 3rd and 10. He's got the catch. And will be near the first down marker, but a little bit short.
He tries to reach it out there and stick it across the line, but boy, a nice effort at the end of that play by Douglas. It would have been real easy for him to just run out of bounds and forget about that play in a 35-0 game, but he came back up toward the middle of the field, took his lumps, and tried to help his team by getting the first down here. And of course, the Trojans are going to go ahead and go for it.
And if they don't score, it's as good as a punt. And the one thing you've done, you've kept the defense off the field.
Yeah, this is a nice drive here by the Trojans.
Once again, the 6 wide receivers spread out all over creation here. And Silas Stamey looking. Protection breaks down. Philip Johnson got in on one side and Ricky Mann on the other.
We talked about, Randy, if you only have 3 guys up front to block, you don't have time to wait and check off and look at 3 or 4 guys. And that time, evidently good coverage downfield for the Wonders, and Stamey just had nowhere to go. The only thing he could do was just kind of hunker down.
Well, they didn't get the touchdown, but it was an exciting drive.
Sure was.
Turn it over on downs to the Wonders at their own 27-yard line after the sack. They lead at 35-0, and Justin Harden, who has been in the entire second quarter, I believe.
6 out of 10 passing for Stamey, 126 yards. He does have the 1 pick so far, but pretty good half.
Those are good stats. Toss to the tailback. Tron Brown picking his way, and got a couple that time, it looked like. It was Q Laws on the defensive stop. Corey Maxwell, my apologies. There's a lot of blurs in that backfield, and everybody
and all of them have a 2 on there, yeah.
22, 20, 27.
But yeah, Kennedy back there, when he's in there, he's got a 1-0, so that's a little bit of a different look. Johnson's 34, so that's a little bit of a different. Of course, he's a lot wider than the rest of them anyway.
Yeah, you've already. There he is, leading the blocking. This is Tron Brown this time, and he'll go out across the 30 near the 34-yard line. 4 minutes, 10 seconds remaining. Clock running here in the first half. Stay tuned at halftime. The bands are starting to limber up. We've got 2 good ones for you. Northwest Marching Trojan Regiment. I guess I call it the Big Green Machine from Kannapolis. About 8,000 people in both bands.
Yeah, boy, they have some fine bands here. This is going to be a good halftime show.
A lot of student participation when they have a football game. You're either on the football team or the band on both sides. Nick Maddox out to the 40-yard line will have the first down. Nick, one of the all-state preseason selections. Jason Hefner on the stop for Northwest, but Maddox is, maybe getting a lot of publicity, but
and that carry put him at 100 yards for the game so far, Randy.
So he's about 1350, 1360 on the year. And that's last week. I think he surpassed his rushing stats from last season.
And you know what the scary thing is? He's a junior.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We forget that, don't we?
Yeah.
Hard drawing defense in, under pressure, and goes down, and no flag. So he did have a receiver. I look like Jeff Sheets was the closest guy over there, so they didn't drop the flag.
Some of the Northwest faithful screaming for a flag that time, but Harden got rid of it, and a little bit of a dangerous ploy there. If you're going to do that, you need to throw it more toward the out-of-bounds marker instead of just letting it hang up there like that, and that's something that comes with experience.
Look at that same rule they have in the NFL. Was he out of the pocket when he downed it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's true in high school with the rule. Maddox off in the slot on the left side. Single setback for Hart, and he'll hand it off to the lone setback, and just rumbling out to the 45, 46, maybe the 47-yard line is Marcus Kennedy. Kennedy normally, you'll see him in a linebacking spot. Jonathan Miller on the tackle for Northwest.
Coming up on 2.5 minutes to go in the quarter.
And they'll send Jenkins along with Tremaine Robinson as the wideouts to the near side. This time back to the I formation. Third down, the toss will go to Maddox. Gets a great block, and Nick's got some speed, and he's got full speed, and he's got a few other gears too. Down to the Northwest 27-yard line.
And that block you call, Randy, was again by Philip Johnson, the captain on this team, and he's just having a whale of a game. Whenever they give him an assignment and say, Philip, you go get this guy, that guy's out of the play. He is not a factor in the play when Johnson gets on him.
Johnson might be a secret agent someday, you know,
I'm telling you.
assignment.
It's not often when you can talk about a lineman having a big game, but I mean, that kid is tonight. He's having just an outstanding effort here tonight. Maddox 125 yards now on 10 carries.
First and 10 at the 27-yard line. Tron Brown got him by the jersey this time.
Had him from behind that time. One of the Trojans did. Looked like it was John Palmer, one of the captains for Northwest.
Maybe a yard, possibly two on the play. 90 seconds left in the first half. Kannapolis already with the game won, basically. Lead 35-0. Has it at the 26-yard line is where they'll spot it. Second and a long 8. 3 wideouts, 1 setback behind Harden. Justin with the play fake, slips and throws and hits Jenkins wide open, complete down to the 11-yard line.
And a nice little run after the catch that time for Jenkins. There were Trojans all around him. He kind of ducked under him and slid for another 5 or 6 yards.
Well, Danny's a pretty good target. He's a senior, obviously, but I think he's up around the 6'5".
Yeah, he's pretty big. 6'5", 182, and it's kind of hard for a guy like him to duck under people, but he did.
You'll find him out there if you're a quarterback looking for him. First down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Tailback Tron Brown.
Nice tackle.
Dragging folks, but he does get about 5 yards on the play. Justin Cox on the stop. And timeout has been called. I believe we've got an injury. One of the wonders, Tron Brown is the guy who's injured. Could be cramps. He's holding the left leg, so we will step away here. 27 seconds remaining in the first half. Under his own power, but we suspect maybe an ankle.
He was grabbing around his shin area, lower part of his shin. He limped off the field, and he's being attended to on the sidelines now. Good sign that he did get up and go off under his own power, though.
Maybe the same one he injured last year. Here's Nick Maddox running off the left side, and he'll go virtually untouched into the end zone, but a flag is down. Wonder's probably guilty of being in motion.
Now, we want to note as well, Randy, that last timeout was not an official's timeout. That was a Wonder timeout just before that play, so not that they'll use them up with 22 seconds left to go, but that was not an official timeout. Kannapolis called that one.
Illegal procedure against the Wonders. We'll move it back to the 10-yard line. Just outside the 10. They don't believe, well, it really doesn't matter with 22 seconds to go. You don't worry about getting another first down. I believe they can and not get in the end zone.
Yeah, but time would expire more than likely before they could do that.
Single setback looks like maybe a passing situation here. Let's see. Harden. Slant. Incomplete. Good coverage. Danny Jenkins, and also hitting him hard. Yeah, Ford was the guy who got there right when the ball got there.
Jenkins had his hands on it, but Ford was able to get in there and jar it loose. Nice play in the secondary. 18 ticks left now, 3rd and 10.
And the multiple umbrellas. Different colors of the rainbow coming up here. This is our 3rd Friday in a row we've had rain. Darn, we're on a roll here, guys.
That's not the kind of roll we want to be on, though.
You remember last year, it was every week. So.
Yeah, I guess there are some positives involved here.
3rd and 10.
Haven't had anybody drown yet this year.
That's right. Harden rolls left, looking to the corner. He's got Maddox, complete, sidesteps one guy, and gets out of another tackle, and will get into the end zone. Nick Maddox did the last 5 yards on his own that time.
Yeah, they needed that. That will leave 11 seconds left and 41-0 for Kannapolis.
Here we watch it again.
And nice effort by Nick Maddox, individual effort to get into the end zone there. After it looked like they were going to have him stop just short, and he may have gotten that first down without the touchdown there had he not been able to pull loose and get in.
Garver has been perfect in the extra points tonight. Will kick his 6th one of the night. This one is good.
Flag is down. I think the official threw a flag in there. And there's a little bit of extra jawing and stuff going on down there now. Let's see.
It might be assessed on the kickoff if it's against Northwest.
The official went over there to say something to the Wonder bench.
Could be some taunting going on. There's a
Personal foul against Kannapolis.
So it will be penalized on the kickoff here. 11 seconds remaining in the first half. And they'll make sure everybody gets the flags picked up down on that end of the field. We'll be right back with a Wonder kickoff in just a minute. And I think I got the same bug that the referee got here, the coin toss. Thing just lives forever. I thought we had a couple of freezes that kill them all. Here's Sheets to kick it off. Not particularly deep, going to be taken by one of the up men. That is number 45, Keith Laws. And he's going to bring it out to about the 42-yard line with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and they call timeout with 1 second to go here in the first half. So Northwest will hustle onto the field and get a chance for one Hail Mary play.
I was going to say, with all this stuff they've been doing tonight, you know they've got a Hail Mary play down in the bag there somewhere.
It's the 41-yard line. Here is Silas Davey.
Still a light rain falling out here, but fortunately we haven't seen much of the heavy stuff yet.
They say it's coming. So time for one more play, and we've got, let's see, only 4 receivers out this time.
So they got to give him a little time for him to get downfield. He's just going to take a knee, and looked like a flag went down on that one.
I think the guy goes to the knee.
Now, wait a minute. Now, the half cannot end if it's a penalty on the defense, so let's see.
Yeah, the guy goes knees down. You don't need to touch him, and don't hit him.
The flag came out before they got to Stamey and put a hand on him. Let's see. It's going to be against Northwest. So that will be the half.
And obviously the Wonders are going to decline that. Nope.
Are they going to put the 1 second back on the clock? All right.
Penalizing 5.
Maybe the deal was before the snap, because that flag was awful quick.
Kind of a dead ball foul, I believe. So here we go. The official final play of the first half. And Stamey will take a knee, or does he? We've got a couple of whistles, and
well, that was kind of weird.
Well, now is the half really over? Boy, my ear's really deaf now. Anyway, I think it's over officially, as the players are leaving, whether the officials are or not. We're going to the dressing room, guys, and we're going to take a break as well. Stay tuned. Halftime performances by both bands in Trojan Stadium. 42-0 our halftime score. Kannapolis on top. Let's take a look at those numbers from the first half.
And as you might expect, the numbers will be a little bit lopsided in favor of Kannapolis. Oh, wow, we've got all the bells and whistles and toys out here tonight.
My goodness.
Happy Halloween, folks. And as we bring up the numbers here, you see
everything's up to black cat tonight.
Minus 17 on the ground for Northwest Cabarrus. 124 in the air. They did pretty well with some of those formations, but Kannapolis, I think that's a little bit reversed. 11 in the air and 292 on the ground. 371 total yards for the Wonders. 3 of 6 passing, 5 out of 8 for Northwest. 2 turnovers hurt 2 early drives for the Trojans, and then you see the penalty yards. 7 penalties between the two teams for a total of 75 yards. And our storyline on the game tonight, we've got that as well for you. There's been a lot of unusual goings-on here tonight. Primarily some of those formations we've been seeing from the Trojans, and boy, what a week of practice they must have had to put some of that in. 2 trick plays accounted for 93 yards of total offense for the Trojans. And A.L. Brown, of course, we talked about it in the open, Randy. That 1-2 punch in the backfield is just devastating. Maddox and Brown, look at that.
Man, oh man, over 100 yards in the first half alone.
And there's the guy who thinks it all up right there.
I tell you. Well, the guy who thought up that 6 guys in the, that's officially called the Hampton-Sydney play. I think Steve Spurrier runs that down at Florida, and it's kind of fun. I mean, if you're getting beat 42-0, make it fun.
They were going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
They were going to do that whether or not. So the right numbers are Kannapolis 292 yards on the ground and 79 yards in the air. But it all adds up to a 42-0 score at the half. Northwest going to get the ball first here to start half number 2. You got Douglas and looks like Noriega back for the Trojans.
And Jeff Sheets will be the kickoff man for the green and white of A.O. Brown.
37 shoots to kick off the Northwest.
And we're underway here in the second half. It will be Noriega finally at the 10-yard line. Looks like he's got some room this time, trying to get outside. They drag him down from behind near the 30-31-yard line. On the coverage was Michael Keene, one of the first guys over there.
Now, Stamey had a pretty good first half there, Randy. You see him trotting out onto the field now, and that's a lot of pressure to put on your quarterback. Some of the things they're doing, they're putting him back there with only 3 guys blocking for him. He has to make a quick decision, and he handled it very well.
Tell you what, he's well versed. Steve Spurrier might look at him. He knows all the plays. You know?
Here's the formation:
6 wide, 1 setback. First down, they draw everybody in. Little screen to Douglas, and oh my goodness.
And there's that guy Johnson again. And boy, Douglas had everything he wanted. He had it past the line, but it looked like he couldn't make up his mind which way he wanted to go. And
actually, the linesman got into one.
Yeah, he thought about it too long, and by the time he decided which way he wanted to go, Big Philip Johnson came rumbling through there and put him on the ground. Boy, I'm telling you, that Philip Johnson is just having a whale of a game.
He's 225-11, but he plays
like about 6'5", 300.
Man. They gained 5 on the play on 2nd and 5. Stamey's got 1 man open. This is the battle for the loose football. Who's going to get it? I think Kannapolis may have intercepted. Rayvar Harris comes down with a pick at the Wonder 49-yard line. Just a jump ball situation there at midfield.
Just hung up there a little bit too long for him that time. And you see him there talking about the pattern they wanted to run. Evidently, somebody didn't go to the right spot, but that one hung a little bit on Silas Stamey.
Niels Larson fighting Harris there, and the Wonder offense.
You got Kraft back at the quarterback to start the 3rd quarter for Kannapolis.
Looks like they put in 60 of the last. We do not have a number for him on the offensive line. So,
and you got neither Brown nor Maddox in the backfield for the Wonders. You got Ivar Johnson and Corey Maxwell.
It will be Maxwell with the toss from the tailback position, breaking a couple of tacklers, spinning, and got about 8 that time across midfield down to the Trojan 44-yard line.
Well, Craig Stevenson had a shot at him in the backfield, but Maxwell was able to get away.
Larson finally stopped him. So we played 2 minutes here in the 3rd period. The rains has threatened to come down, but
wait a minute now. You're in a high school. You can't. All these English teachers around here, you can't be saying rains has threatened now. One of these English teachers will come up here and whack you across the knuckles with a ruler for that.
Well, it looked like it was going to rain.
All right.
It sprinkled briefly. The umbrellas are gone. And Ivar Johnson's gone. He's got the first down to the 37-yard line. Well, I've been out of high school too long. Jonathan Miller with a tackle.
I tell you, I hope one of these English teachers around here doesn't hear that. You'll be in detention next week, I guarantee you.
Could be a good Halloween costume. Dunce hat.
Sit in the corner.
Of course, they don't paddle anymore, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. You'll just go to timeout. That's what.
That's right. Timeout. No recess. Toss. And almost an errant pitch, but Maxwell just lowers his head and goes forward down to the 30-yard line.
Maxwell was either trying to have a little trouble gathering that one up, or he looked like he wanted to go more toward the middle with that one. He kind of stutter-stepped there just after he got the pitch, but it worked out well for him in the long run.
Checking into Northwest defense, Chip Stack, number 53, a 225-pound senior, will come in, and he will replace Stephen Udi on the defensive line. 2nd and 3 for the Wonders at the 30. Back out of the eye, and they will have the first down this time as they just keep it straight up the gut there. Maxwell once again carrying the football. Leading the block at that time was Adam Singleton, as you see Coach Marty Stamey. And just
Maxwell, if you're curious, 5'11", 165 pounds, and he is a junior. Well, a lot of good juniors on this team for Kannapolis.
Maxwell could carry the ball about 217 yards coming into tonight's contest. There's Kraft throwing, and the receiver is complete to Robinson, out of bounds inside the 20, and a late flag. A late hit over there by one of the Northwest defenders.
Looks like it's going to be Norika, number 20, who's going to get the penalty on that one. And right in front of 3 officials.
Yeah, we'll watch it again here.
He's trying to gather himself to go upfield and stay in bounds, and right there, no, it wasn't Norika. It was the guy who went out of the picture. Didn't catch that number, but Norika was the one trying to wrestle him out of bounds, and after he got him out, another Trojan came along and popped him again.
Kind of a short out of bounds area over here at Northwest, so you got to put the brakes on. You end up in the stands. We're kind of close to the action. I kind of like it.
Yeah, great view from here.
First and goal for the Wonders at the 9-yard line. 3 wide receivers, and the toss will go to Maxwell. Gets a great block by Johnson. He's in the end zone.
Nice speed that time. Did you see him turn on the jets? Man.
I like to see him and Brown and Maddox in a foot race. I wonder who would win. Okay, great relay team. It might be their relay team. I don't know. The officials have called a timeout here. Looks like one of the Trojans a little slow in getting up. And
looks like it's Patrick Ford, number 32. He's limping now. A couple of his teammates are helping him, and now the trainers go out for the Trojans to help get him to the sidelines.
He's right there at the goal line, trying to play defense, and couldn't just turn the ankle the wrong way there, trying to get Maxwell as he crossed the goal line.
Well, and Patrick, a big part of the Trojan offense here.
So they get him off, and it looks like he's walking a little bit better once he reaches the sidelines. That'll be sore for a couple of days. We have a new man in to kick the extra point here for Kannapolis. John Garber had been perfect in those attempts throughout the first half, and it is the number 12, Donnell Neal, and his attempt is good. Timeout on the field, 7:50 remaining, third period.
And have scored each and every time.
Here's that play that works good in the first half, and it almost works again. Pass a little bit behind Nick Douglas, but Jamie Russ with a pretty good arm. You got 6.
Yeah, and he was open, Randy. The pass just a little bit off that time. Well, we might see Easy Smith use this in his bag of tricks next week. You never know.
Yeah. We want to speak of Easy Smith, the Bell game next week. Concord, Kannapolis. It'll come down to that. These teams already in the playoffs, obviously. For postseason, it's just whether it's 1, 2, or 3. A little screen this time set up, and Douglas out of the backfield has got some room. Around the corner,
nice
gets a good block, and ridden out of bounds by Caldwell.
And they want a flag over there, and he hurt his leg. Douglas did out of bounds. Northwest contingent here wants a flag. They felt like there was a little bit of unnecessary stuff out of bounds. There you see Douglas down on the sidelines. He was grabbing around his ankle or his knee area that time, and hopefully he's going to be okay. And you see that time, Randy, Douglas didn't hesitate after that little lob over the line of scrimmage. He tried to pick his hold and wait last time. This time he simply takes off, and it works a whole lot better. Now see if we can tell what happened at the end of this play. Douglas still down over there. Here we go. You couldn't really tell how he...
soft area over there where the team's been standing, a little soggy, and doesn't take much to twist an ankle, especially when you got somebody on top of you trying to tackle you at full speed out of bounds. And a short area, as we said, once you get to the sidelines here.
So the setback now for the Trojans is going to be Robert Weinkoff, number 33. Or one of them.
And the ball bouncing around, and Stamey's going to have to eat it. Coming in is Paul Allen to make the tackle. And that would just running amok from the beginning, but Silas with a kind bounce to get possession back.
Well, not a lot he could do.
No. Lost back to the 36-yard line of Northwest as we show 6 minutes and 55 seconds remaining here in the third period. 2nd and 18. We've got Russ, the wide receiver nearest you at the bottom of the screen. Play fake. Ball tipped, and Marcus Kennedy, the linebacker for the Wonders, will pick it off. And the whistle blows. He'll go down at the 40-yard line of Northwest. They've had a lot of balls tipped at the line of scrimmage tonight.
Well, he's trying to let the strategy is to let the line come in and lob it over their head. He tried to fire it through them that time as the rain gets a lot harder here. 3rd interception for Stamey and the 4th total turnover for the Trojans tonight.
I guess the rain, when it rains, it really pours, doesn't it? And
yeah.
It's pouring right now on the...
Still got Johnson and Maxwell in the backfield for the Wonders, and Kraft still at the quarterback spot.
And it will be Ivar Johnson racing to the end zone. Touchdown for the Wonders. Johnson virtually untouched. Your basic fullback up the middle.
I'm telling you, man, he was not hindered very much at all. Look at this hole right here.
Nobody touched him, I don't think, would he?
No, I don't think they did. And I'm telling you, now that's a fullback outrunning defensive backs.
So Ivar with his first touchdown, he'll get into the scoring act. As we incorrectly pronounced, it was Ryan Irwin on the extra point last time. He's the number 12, and he kicks his second one through as well. Timeout on the field. So 2 to go in the 3rd period. As we return to Trojan Stadium, the rain starting to come down a little harder right now. And the kick will go to Compton, who is in at the 7-yard line. Matt,
oh, man,
at the 20-yard line, probably as hard a hit as you'll ever see. That one took the breath out of me to watch it. Man, oh, man.
Take a look at it again. Boy, he just wrapped him up and squashed him. And there you see Compton grinning about it. He's not hurt. He's okay. And boy, this is a collision here. Kabang. And we don't have an 81 on our roster from Kannapolis, so we don't know.
It's Donnell Neal.
Donnell Neal, okay. So he was the one who we thought was number 12 earlier, and he's 81.
Well, Donnell ought to get some playing time. He'll make Sports Center highlight on that hit. Man. Goodness gracious. Here's Staley. They go back. Little conventional offense, and getting 5 yards is Robert Weinkauf off the right side.
And for Northwest fans, Nick Douglas is up and walking around on the sidelines right now, but the trainers are still telling him, no, you just stay right here. And there you see Patrick Ford, who got hurt a little earlier. He's limbering up a little bit. You can see it, you get an idea there how hard it's raining, looking behind Silas Stamey.
Of course, football players don't mind it.
No, it's not raining as hard as it was last week at South Moran, but then again, it doesn't really rain much harder than that.
No, that was a torrent. I think it was Hurricane Fran for the return visit up there. Well, we knew which way the play was going. It was going to that side of the line. And
well, you had a couple of the Trojans moved early that time. Looked like Hefner and Weinkauf both moved. You can't have 2 guys in motion. Anyway,
4:41 remaining in the 3rd period as they will wind the clock. And there's some smart folks. They brought the plastic. It doesn't impede your vision, but...
Hey, look, there's our pal.
Yep.
I knew Michelle would be out there sooner or later.
Oh, yeah.
She always gets on camera somehow. She's about like Lanny.
Yeah, but she don't have to put on all those masks and stuff to get on camera. Stamey airing it out on the fly. Incomplete.
And boy, the official, he almost reached in his pocket, Randy. Looked like he reached back there for just a second and thought better of it. Norika's complaining out there saying, I couldn't get to the ball, and the official is just not going to hear it. And if he doesn't watch it, he's going to get a flag himself.
I guess the thing they look for is the ball actually catchable, and it was overthrown. I don't think maybe it was impeded enough to call it, but it was close. He thought about it, like you said.
Boy, Stamey put some mustard on that one, didn't he?
3rd down and long. Stamey directed traffic. He said, I need a receiver over here. So Russ comes in off the sidelines. He split to the left out of your picture. Stamey from the 20-yard line. Straight drop, good protection, and fires it out. And Douglas, who is back in there, catches it, but it'll be far short of the 1st down. Paul Allen, who has been all over the field tonight defensively with another stop. And that will force Northwest into a punting situation. Chris Petit He's 6 foot 204 pounds senior.
And Maddox is going back to field the punt.
And if Chris is smart, he won't kick it anywhere near number 20. Good snap, no pressure, and a great kick.
Man, what a boot.
And Maddox will get away from it. It takes a good Northwest roll and roll and roll. Wow. Energizer Bunny keeps on going. Down to the 25. That'll help your average considerably. He kicked it about 40 yards in the air. Good leg. 3:23 to go. Third period.
He's going to get about 50 yards total out of that thing.
Good for your net. Halloween night 1997, and Kannapolis tuning up for the Bell game next week.
Got a couple of new receivers in for the Wonders. One of them's Nate Jones, number 17.
Here's Maxwell untouched as he rambles out of the backfield, and he's down the sidelines. Got one man to beat, cuts it back against the center of the field. Can he outrun the rest of the Trojan pursuit? Inside the 10, they drag him down to the 5. Finally catching up with him is Robert Weinkoff, who had the angle. Maybe Corey ran out of steam, too.
And he may be hurt on that, Randy. It's tough when you get full speed and then somebody grabs your legs when you're running at full song like that from behind. You can really injure yourself that way. And take a look at it again. It almost looks like when he gets to the sidelines here, as he starts to cut back toward the middle, looks like Maxwell's about to run out of gas right about in here. But here, he starts turning on the speed again. Now watch Weinkoff, 33.
At the angle. And
ooh, that hurt. Boy, he bent kind of funny as he went down that time.
Fell on his left knee first. It's tough. Like you said, you're going full speed. Somebody pulling at one leg and one leg's going the other way.
Yeah,
like
you got to
wishbone.
Take that next step and the leg just doesn't go.
So I'm breaking the action with 2:39 to go in the third quarter. Timeout on the field. Kennedy is in at the tailback spot, it looks like, and he will get the football. Evar Johnson will block ahead. Kennedy's in the end zone.
And the Wonders break 60 points. Maxwell, by the way, got up and trotted off the field under his own power. And now, boy, we've got a scrap going on down here, looks like.
Frustration's coming out right now.
And they start to break it up now, so don't see any flags, so it looks like everybody's going to be okay.
Aided by the huge run by Corey Maxwell.
69 yards on that jaunt for Maxwell. And Weinkoff saved the touchdown.
And sets up the 6-yard run by Kennedy. And Irwin now, the reserve extra point guy, getting a workout here. This will be his third try. He is 2 for 2 in that category. Now 3 for 3. Timeout on the field. 2:17 remaining in the third quarter. We'll go deep to Noriega at about the 10-yard line.
So you're thinking of the guy from Panama.
Yeah, I am. Out to the 32-yard line, and Northwest will have good field position to start this drive. We'll see him score off this Hampton-Sydney formation. There you see the big hike around here next week. Another renewal, I guess one of the state's longest continuous rivalries, Kannapolis and Concord.
People probably starting lining up about Monday to get in there.
Yeah, they've been talking about it all season, and it sets up, it's the 90s, so it's Kannapolis and Concord once again for maybe all the marbles. And there should be a few folks at that game down at Bailey Stadium. Stamey hit. Looked like his arm was hit as he threw, and it was off target.
But, you know, talking about people discussing the Bell game all year, a flag goes down now. There's been a little bit of extracurricular stuff going on, and that's going to be an unsportsmanlike, looks like, against Northwest. You know, talking about people discussing the Bell game all year, that always kills me. We get Bruce Harden onto the headliner show early in the season because they always play South Moran early. And it never fails. Somebody always calls up second game of the year. Yeah, Coach Harden, you think y'all win that Bell game this year?
Yeah.
Come on, that's 10 games away.
That's probably
take it easy.
That would be a top 10 for David Letterman as the dumbest question of the football season.
I mean, come on. Give the guy a break. I mean, let him work on this week.
That's the only thing that
never
matters.
fails.
Only thing that matters. Well, they swing it out out the flat this time and get it to Garrett Dellinger, who normally has done a good job punting the ball this year. Not doing that tonight in a pass receiving role. And we'll get a couple of yards on the play.
Douglas trots back out onto the field again, Randy, and he's limping a little bit, and he just doesn't want to stay on the sidelines. He's wanting to finish up this game with his teammates out there.
And next week somebody also call and they'll say, Coach Smith, you think both teams got good running attacks? I mean, they only rushed for 8,000 yards this year.
Oh, man.
And they go up the gut this time to Keith Laws, and he'll go to the 20-21-yard line. I remember last year the lady that rang the bell for about 2 solid hours.
Oh, man, I had about forgotten about that.
And, you know, her arm is still moving.
It's got to be. She probably had to go have surgery the next day.
Rotator cuff, rotator injury.
Yeah. Oh.
Punting situation. And it will be Tremaine Robinson in back and deep receiving formation about midfield. So Kannapolis should get great field position. What a kick. I'll tell you one thing, that ball was up over the lights, and he is getting a tremendous roll tonight. That rolls about 15 yards after it hits, and the third quarter comes to an end. It is 63-0. We've got 12 more minutes coming up. Quarterback. Who played the entire second period. Now we'll finish up here. Maxwell is back, and he'll take the toss, I think. Well, he picks it up, reverses his field, and he meets a lot of orange and black. And the pursuit was
there you go. And that's going to be on the Trojans yelling and screaming there as
Solowitzki, I think 78 was the guilty party. Doing a little punching on top of the pile there.
I don't know that he hit somebody. I think he was just swinging in air that time, but the thing that got him in trouble was yelling and celebrating like that. It's good to see Maxwell come back, because you never know when a guy goes down like that how serious it's going to be, and that's another personal foul against Northwest Cabarrus.
They call that a taunting, what they warned him in the pregame.
The officials can say, we warned you. 6 penalties for 65 yards against Northwest.
As Jim Love, our spotter and statistician there, he's got a yellow flag this week. We change colors on our sticky notes every week here.
I thought you were going to say spotistician.
Spotistician? Yeah, that could be a hybrid. They try the left side and get up to about the 40-yard line. Near the first down. Oh, wait a minute. Now, it wasn't near the first down. They just hadn't moved the chains.
Okay, they weren't paying attention. The chain
was 10 yards behind. I'm sitting there going,
they fell asleep, yeah.
They got penalized 10 yards on that. Maybe they were taunting. You guys got to stay back here for one play. That's crazy. Hard drops the snap, and I think he gets it back.
Uh-oh, now he's upset. Now they're going to be some more pushing and shoving, and one of his Bill linemen drags him out of there before he can do anything crazy. That was Mark Linton who grabbed Harden and just dragged him out of there before he could throw a punch at somebody, and now the Trojans celebrating because they've got a penalty going against Kannapolis, and this game is starting to get a little ugly here now, Randy, with a 63-point lead for Kannapolis and still almost 11 minutes to go, and the officials are calling them together now and saying, look, guys,
one more time and we're all going home.
We're not going to put up with it.
And everybody's going home, and they might as well.
We told you at the beginning of the game we weren't going to take it, and now we're going to re-emphasize it a little bit.
There's really no need to it. This is where you can really get somebody seriously hurt and really end a career.
And that's the last thing you want to see is somebody get a season-ending, a career-ending injury because of something after the play.
So they'll step the personal foul off against the Wonders back to their own 23-yard line.
And the chain gang guys are looking at each other. Do we stay here? Do we go back there? What do we do?
I've never seen them just lose track.
They did. They fell asleep.
He gains nothing and they move the chains. 5 penalties now, 70 yards against Kannapolis. Offset the back. Johnson is back there, and Maxwell will take the sweep this time. A little bit of wet turf as the field conditions deteriorated here. Maxwell slipping and sliding.
It's raining hard out there now, Randy. It's coming down.
And he gets out to about the
Coach Hart
27.
talking to his son there, getting back on. He doesn't look too thrilled. I think he is going to talk to his team a little bit about some of these penalties late in the game. I mean, even though they've got a 63-point lead, you're getting down to the end of the season looking toward playoffs, and that's the kind of thing you can't afford when you start running up against playoff teams.
Well, the thing about it is we talk about Coach Harden's son at quarterback. Well, he's got another one that's a wide receiver on the JV, so it's going to be hard to Harden next year, maybe. Harden back, looking deep. One-on-one coverage, incomplete. A great defensive play by Northwest Cabarrus to bat it away.
Weinkauf back there did a good job to knock it away. There you see him. He's a senior, number 33. And he was defending, looked like number 17, Nate Jones back there, as Kannapolis tried.
Also heard what they haul.